My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to the solo adventures, specifically for the final heroic challenges in One Night in Karazhan, specifically the Spire. Alright, so first off,
Party guests in the master's chambers. Keep out!
okay, so the change seems to be that ley lines, passive hero power, both players have spell damage plus 5 rather than spell damage plus 3. So I think I need to actually make a deck that capitalizes on spell damage. Spell damage plus 5 means I really just, like, maybe I only want spells in my deck? Let's have a look at Malfurion. So the reason I'm looking at Malfurion specifically is a 0 mana 6 damage nuke and a 1 mana 7 damage nuke. Kinda insane, y'all. Kinda a little bit insane. What else is super important here? Pretty much, first off, let's convert to wild. Pretty much anything that does spell damage, right, is gonna be pretty good. Savagery, interestingly enough, ought to do 5 damage, right, for 1 mana. Double Raven Idol is probably gonna be important. I'll take a second Savagery, because they're gonna be really cheap, but super effective. Attack and armor aren't going to be affected. Wrath will be, so I'll be able to remove a minion while drawing a card, which is incredibly mana efficient. Anything else? Both players have +2 spell damage. You know what? That's really important, actually. Everyone needs 7 spell damage in this. Okay, double swipe, obviously. 2 damage to all enemy minions. That's basically a board clear. But my opponent doesn't, from what I recall of my opponent's deck, they don't summon that many minions, and if they do, I already have swipe. So I need swipe because it's a 9 damage nuke to the face for 4 mana. It's still really good. I also very likely need Starfire, not only for the 10 damage, but drawing a card is going to be really important, and Moonglade Portal and a few other things to heal me, because I need to stay alive whilst I'm doing all of this. So I can also try and, like, ramp it up. Wamp it up. With all of these ramp cards. So Innovate, getting cards out earlier. Wild Growth, obviously accelerating my my status on board. Grove Tender will force my opponent to deal with the board state, but it will also accelerate both of us in mana. As long as my opponent doesn't have card efficient plays, then Grove Tender is completely fine still. Anything with Death Rattle is going to be really amazing because I didn't notice my opponent having any silence effects. Healing Touch, despite not getting buffed by spell damage, is going to be quite important. It looks like I'm very likely on turn 5 to have like a 4 and a 1 or a 3 and a 2, something like that. Like build your own kind of your own turn. But outside of that, I'm also looking at what's 5 mana here. Azure Drake is 5 mana here. Antique Healbot is 5 mana here. That's going to be particularly important. Anything else? None of these are obviously going to have spell damage. Loetheb is going to be incredibly important. I don't know how I actually skipped that. Spell. All right, let's look for things that happen when a spell is cast. So anything that can't be removed by spells, like Fairy Dragon. Fairy Dragon will die to Arcane Missiles, though, like 100% of the time. So I probably don't want that. Blood Mage Thalnos is pretty good. Okay, now what are we cutting? Probably the Double Raven Idol, I'll be entirely honest. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, gain +1 attack, but unfortunately, it's too easy to kill that minion, right? So Burly Rockjaw Trog dies to anything that does literally any damage. Obviously, as a result of the fact that it gains +2 attack, it's pretty good, but also it dies to anything that does 1 damage because my opponent has +5 spell damage. So Spectral Knight is also going to be incredible. Is it, though? Is Spectral Knight going to be incredible? So I wonder why it's going to be incredible, because +5 spell damage means that Spectral Knight is cleared by Arcane Explosion. I think maybe that's a bad idea. Anyway, I'm going to name this deck Bad Idea. Basically because I have a bad feeling about it, but you know what? I've got to try it to see if it doesn't work, and then we can refine it. I do think that I am going with Druid for this, though. Whew. You might recognize that we're not recording this at the same time as we're recording the other ones, because I was not playing well, and the heroic mode needs all of your mental acuity in order to complete.
The shade of Aran.
Which, of course, is why I'm drinking as much coffee as I am.
I must protect the wild.
I have enough ramp in this deck that I really ought to draw into some of it before I take a turn. It's kind of boring. If my opponent has any plans of playing minions at any point in this game, they're going to be sorely disappointed.
No loud music in my tower.
Meet Aran, the curmudgeonly ghost.
Pretty good draw.
I am not some simple jester. I am Neelis Aran.
Alright, Neelis Aran, what are you going to do with your turn? Mage Secret. I really ought to put Karazhan Mystics in here. The Mage Secret is relatively common. Plus, it's going to do a lot of damage to me. Crap. I should have hero powered, attacked, and then did this. I don't know if a minion has to attack to trigger the Mage Secret. We'll see. Obviously, they also have Ice Barrier in their deck, which is also pretty good, in fact. Arcane Explosion does kill this.
And now they're eyeing the Murloc.
This is my primary concern. Arcane Missiles doesn't. Most of the time, Arcane Missiles doesn't. That's the expected result, 4 damage on each. Okay, we attack with you first. Beautiful, you get 8 armor and you deal 10 damage to all their enemies. That's a lot of damage. So having minions that stick to the board to do consistent damage is going to be better than having spells, but also if I can use that... My opponent doesn't know how to play cards! Oh, I think we might actually just win off the back of that. No, we use, like, Moonfire.
For the wild.
Okay, they have cards that are too expensive to play, or they have, like, Flame Lance and stuff like that that they actually just can't use currently. Ah, bugger. Looming Presence is pretty damn good.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
Okay. That's not good. Okay. We'll Wrath you, draw a card. Pretty good, pretty good. Now, if that's Flame Wreath, I lose my fort. Oh, right. I thought it was going to do 5 damage. It's not going to do 5 damage, alright. I guess we just have to accept the loss if it is, and it's not. Beautiful. And then we'll play Loatheb. I imagine my opponent's going to have a Pyroblast in their deck and it's going to do a stupid amount of damage. Arcane Blast. That is a very efficient card. Savagery. Deal damage equal to your hero's attack to a minion. No, that's why I can't do it.
For the wild.
Okay. Kel'Thuzar.
The master is mighty, but I have powers of my own.
So, first things first, we attack the face with this. Interesting. That is very interesting. Innovate is very unlikely to be powerful from now on, so I'll cast Grove Tender. I don't want my opponent to get cards, so I'm actually going to give each of us a mana crystal, even though I already have full mana. Now I'm going to Innovate. Counterspell. It's exactly what I didn't want to have happen to my counterspell, which is why I did that at that rate. Okay, now I can hero power and savagery you for 1 billion damage. Okay. Obviously, if I was gonna swipe the face, I didn't need to do that. Turns out. Ah, fucking Blizzard. Crap. Oh, screw you. Hang on, never mind. Counterspelled. Got him. We got him. Too easy.
Well played.
Well, I'm glad this one was a short match, because I know the last one isn't going to be.
Portal's in the next room. We're just in time.
Well, not the next one, right? The next one might also be short if I just clock onto the right thing. It's specifically this
Done
one.
it. Open the portal and let's get this party started.
This one's going to be shitty, because I have to imagine that the initial orc enemy that I can't remember the name of, Naz or something, is just going to have a bunch more HP, and it's going to be like an actual fight followed by an actual fucked up fight. And that's going to be quite annoying.
Neverspite rules all of Karazhan's portals. We'll need his control device.
That's not good. We actually can't let our opponent attack our face, so we're going to need things like taunt minions. Anyhow, for the moment, let me just say that my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Hearthstone One Night in Karazhan, specifically the beginning of the heroic mode in the Spire. We have taken down... Come on, Ryan. Shade of Aran. Hey, got it eventually. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves. There's a playlist in the description down below with all my content on this game and on this adventure, past, present, and future, and hopefully we will see you next time.